Alright, so kaka-announce lang ng Quadcom na they are recommending the filing of charges for crimes against humanity against the former president, some top former PNP officials et al. Okay? Now, ano yung pinafile nila, nire-recommend nila for filing is under Republic Act number 9851, or an act defining and penalizing crimes against international humanitarian law, genocide and other crimes against humanity, organizing jurisdiction, designating special courts, and for related purposes. Okay. So this is hot right now kasi kakatapos lang ng kaka-announce lang ng Quadcom. But as with anything, we have to look at this closely and find out why exactly ito ang pinafile nila. They have a hidden agenda here. And sa totoo lang, it is unusual that they would file this because this will require this will require a lot of evidence and a lot of proving. Ito po, Republic Act number 9851, actually enacted in full yung Rome Statute. Ito, almost word for word, and in fact, word for word halos, yung mga violations dito. So wala talagang dinagdag. Now, to begin with, bakit in-enact ito? May pressure tayo under international other bodies, other jurisdictions na mag-create ng ganitong batas to incorporate the principles of international law pagdating sa human rights. But why? Okay? Mayroon naman tayong mga batas. Mayroon tayong batas na against unaliving. Meron tayong batas rin pertaining to this. Pero bakit kinailangan ito? Okay? Tignan natin kung paano muna nag-develop ang konsepto ng human rights sa mundo. Ito po ay isang paraan din na whether intentional ito o hindi sinasadya, na nagdi-deepen ang discrimination between those countries who are already developed and economically advanced as against countries that are still in the developing stage. Bukod pa dyan, mayroong mga issues about relativity, cultural relativity, meaning may questions pa about the universality of some of the doctrines here. Wala naman sa atin nagki-question pagdating sa karapatan natin mabuhay. Karapatan natin na mabuhay ang ating mga communities. Karapatan natin na against dun sa mga deliberate na pananakit sa atin at discrimination. Gayon pa man, matagal nang pinoint out dun sa evolution, dun sa pagtatayo ng International Criminal Court, yung ICC, kung bakit ang implementasyon ng pagpoprotekta ng karapatang pangtao the world over does not seem to follow its own principles of fairness. So, let's begin. Okay, wag naman din po natin sabihin na ito ay simple distraction. Ito ay napakadali para sa atin na i-claim, ay distraction lang yan kasi may ganitong issue, may ganitong issue. Of course, that's a possibility. But it's the oldest trick in the book. Pwede naman, sige, distraction, but is this really a good gimmick to distract us? Masyadong mainit ito. Isipin niyo, one of the most popular presidents in Philippine history, ni-recommend nila ng filing of charges. Imposibleng hindi natin pag-usapan ito. Kung sa tingin niyo, simpleng distraction lang po ito, hindi naman po kailangan na makilahok kayo sa diskusyon. Pero, at the end of this, we have to point out some of the things. Wag pa tayong magpapatigil ng distraction lang yan at hindi na po natin pag-uusapan o i-discuss kung ano talaga ang tunay na pakay ng gobyerno dito. And it isn't distraction po. It is the elimination of one of the strongest forces in Philippine politics right now, the Dutertes. So, kalimutan natin yung mga distraction lang yan kasi nakakatigil lang yan ng pag-examine natin ng tunay na pakay dito. Is this actually a legal battle? No. The truth is, this is lawfare. The use of the law for political ends. The use of the law to discredit an opponent. Actually, it's the misuse of the law. Hindi talaga hustisya ang habol dito, kundi yung elimination ng political opponents. Let's begin. Ilalagay lang natin dito yung RA 9851. Dahil RA 9851 is the law that is applicable here. So, hanapin ko lang muna kung saan ko nilagay yung batas. Yun, okay? Ito ang Republic Act 9851, most of which was lifted word for word, almost verbatim from the international law, particularly the Rome Statute. Pero ang recommend dito ng Quadcom pa lang po ito. Hindi pa po ito plenaryo. Ibig sabihin, ito ang magiging committee report ng Quadcom, ng 4 na simultaneous committees na nag-imbestiga dito. Kailangan i-rekomenda pa nila ito sa plenaryo. At ang plenaryo po ay boboto. Tandaan po natin kung sino yung mga boboto. Tandaan po natin ang mga pangalan na magre-rekomenda ng pag-file ng mga charges dito kay former President Rodrigo Duterte. Kasi alam po natin kung ano ang pakay nila at magiging maliwanag sa pag-discuss natin ng batas na ito. Ayan. Declaration of Principles, etc., etc. Alam na natin to. Definition of terms, magiging bahagi yan ng ano ang pinakatinitignan natin dito. Dahil po ang kaso ay crimes against humanity, yun po ang titignan natin. Other kind. Ang crimes against humanity, unfortunately, dun sa pag-rekomenda nila, ay simpleng violation ng international humanitarian law or other related laws on international conventions and treaties on human rights. Okay? So, crimes against international humanitarian law, genocide, and other crimes against humanity. In other words, lahat ng nakalagay dito ay crimes against humanity. Bakit importante yung phrase na yon? Ayon sa ating international law, ang crimes against humanity is ang pinakamataas na krimen dahil ito po ay tumatawid sa kahit anong mga not just jurisdictions, pero doktrina. Ito ay ang tinatawag dito ay obligation erga omnes. Meaning, for everybody's obligation to protect human rights. Pero tignan natin muna kung ano ang human rights as defined by law. Sabi sa Office of the High Commissioner on Human Rights, human rights are universal, inalienable, indivisible, interdependent, and equal rights that we have simply because we exist as human beings. So ano ito? Yung karapatan, basically, ang karapatan natin mabuhay at ang karapatan natin maging malaya under certain conditions. Halimbawa, hindi iiral ang karapatan maging malaya kung ikaw po ay nakatulan at fair yung paghahatol na yon. But may karapatan tayong hindi nasasaktan, hindi tayo sinasaktan, hindi ini-inflict sa atin ang pananakit ng walang pahintulot at undeserving. In other words, basta tao ka, may karapatan ka na ganito. Dito sa ating batas, nakalagay dito kung ano ang karapatan, ang crimes against humanity or other crimes against humanity. Bakit doon tayo titingin? Kasi ang batas na tinitingnan dito under this law are war crimes. So ang war crimes mag-a-apply din po yan both to international conflict and internal conflict. Pero hindi, kung titignan nila at i-define nila ang crimes against humanity as, I'm busy. Kung i-define natin ang crimes against humanity, kasama po talaga dito ang war crimes. Ngunit, may conflict na dito. Kung sakaling may conflict, mas mag-a-apply yan doon sa insurgencies natin. So, pero bago ang lahat itong pag-aanalisa natin ay yung unang tingin pa lang. Ibig sabihin, pwede pang mag-develop, baka iba yung maging charges, baka iba po ang maidagdag dito sa committee report. Hindi pa po kasi ito charge. And in fact, ito po ay committee report pa lang ng Quadcom. Hindi pa po ito na pag-uusapan sa plenaryo. Gayunpaman, ina-announce nila kasi meron silang gustong klaseng effect. At ang effect na ito ay yung kawalan natin ng motivation na labanan yung paglalapastangan ng mga miyembro mismo ng Kongreso sa mga karapatan ng mga resource persons. At iba pang mga taong hindi lang nila pinapatawag o ibang mga tao who are subject to their how do you call this? To these congressmen. Okay? Genocide is another crime against humanity. So, ito ay pag-unalive sa mga miyembro daw ng isang identifiable na grupo, causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in full or in part. Anong ibig sabihin ng inflicting on the group conditions of human rights, of life, conditions of life? Ibig sabihin, para mabuhay ka, may mga kondisyon na posibleng hindi ka mabuhay. Halimbawa, yung pag-deny ng medical attention, pag-deny ng medisina, pag-deny ng pagkain. Oy, parang gobyerno natin yata yung gumagawa nun. Imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group, forcibly transferring children of the group to another group. Usually kasi pag genocide, in whole or in part national, ethnic, racial, religious, social, or other similar, stable, and permanent groups. Okay? Mag-a-apply ba dito ang mga grupo, let's say, ng mga gumagamit ng bawal na droga? Malabo po yun. Pero, gayon pa man, posibleng, baka maipasok nila doon one way or another. Pero dito po talaga tayo titingin. Okay? Other crimes against humanity. For the purpose of this act, other crimes against humanity means any of the following acts when committed as part of a widespread or systematic attack directed against any civilian population with knowledge of the attack. In other words, kailangan alam ng grupo na yon na may attack at ginagawa yung attack at ito ay directed on against any civilian population. Pwedeng systematic, pwedeng widespread. Willful unaliving. Okay, madali yan intindihin. Ano ang ibig sabihin ng extermination? Ayon dito sa sariling definition dito, ito ay intentional infliction of conditions of life. There we go again. In such as, but not limited to, the deprivation of access to food and medicine, calculated to bring about the destruction of a part of the population. Okay. Hindi yata natin nakikita base sa ebidensya na nilabas or sa alleged question and answer doon sa Kongreso kung ito ay kasali. So, gayon pa man, enslavement, well, needs no definition. Arbitrary deportation or forcible transfer of the population, hindi naman applicable. Imprisonment or other severe deprivation, hindi. Torture, rapes, hindi din Ito, persecution against any identifiable group or collectivity on political, racial, national, ethnic, cultural, religious, gender, sexual, or other grounds that are universally recognized as impermissible under international law. Parang yung mga users ay hindi pa po yata universally recognized as impermissible under international law, yung kanilang distinction in connection with any act here. Enforced or involuntary disappearances of persons not alleged. Apartheid. Other inhumane acts of a similar character intentionally causing great suffering or serious bodily injury. Okay. Dahil yung nakalagay doon sa investigasyon ay EJK, dito tayo sa letter A titingin. Okay. So, ano yung penal provisions? Pag guilty ka dito, pero tingnan niyo ha, okay, as part of a widespread or systematic attack, penalties. Any person found guilty of committing any of the acts shall suffer the penalty of reclusion temporal. What is reclusion temporal? That is 12 years and 1 day up to 20 years. Bakit mababa? In its medium and maximum periods, when justified by the extreme gravity of the crime, when the commissions of the crime specified result in death, serious physical injury, or constitutes rape, and consider the individual circumstances of the accused, the penalty will rise to reclusion perpetua and a fine ranging from 500 and so on. Pag genocide, meron din. Inciting to genocide. Okay, next. In addition, the court shall order the forfeiture of proceeds, property, direct, etc. These are standard. Okay. Titingnan natin yung next na provisions. Section 9, irrelevance of official capacity. Look at the words very carefully. This act shall apply to all persons without any distinction based on official capacity. Ang ibig sabihin nun, kahit ano yung position mo. In particular, official capacity as head of state or government, a member of government or parliament, an elected representative or a government official shall in no case exempt a person from criminal responsibility under this act, nor shall it or itself constitute ground for reduction of sentence. Meaning, hindi ko mag-official ka, ay marireduce yung sentence na yon. However, immunities or special procedural rules that may be attached to the official capacity of a person under Philippine law, other than the established constitutional immunity from suit of the Philippine president during his tenure, shall not bar the court from exercising jurisdiction over such person. Anong ibig sabihin nito? Tuloy pa rin ang immunity from suit of the Philippine president. Now, the Philippine president, as president, and for all of his official acts, he is immune from suit, whether he is still in office or after he is done from the presidency, as long as they are official acts. Okay? So, hindi affected yan. immunities or special procedural rules that may be attached to the official capacity other than the established constitutional immunity of the Philippine President during his tenure shall not bar the court. Ibig sabihin, barred ang court from prosecuting the Philippine President for official acts. Immunities that may be attached to the official capacity of the person under international law may limit the application of this act not only within the bounds established under international law. Meaning, kailangan international law ang umiral para ma-pierce yung constitutional immunity ng presidente. But look here, paano yun malilimit? By the way, walang prescription ito. It means it can be filed daw at any time. But look at this. Ito, Section 17. The state shall exercise jurisdiction over persons, civilian, military, suspected, or accused of a crime. So, jurisdiction of the Philippine state over this. Nakikita natin, the Philippine RTCs shall have original and exclusive jurisdiction, etc. The Supreme Court shall designate special courts to try cases of these. Wala pa pong dinidesignate ang Supreme Court, but they will if a case should come up. Itong tignan natin. In the interest of justice, the relevant Philippine authorities, Section 17, may dispense with the investigation or prosecution of a crime punishable under this act if another court or international tribunal is already conducting the investigation or undertaking the prosecution of such a crime. Instead, the authorities may surrender or extradite suspected or accused pa lang or accused persons in the Philippines to the appropriate international court, if any, or to another state pursuant to the applicable extradition laws and treaties. What does this mean? What is the Quadcom's intention? Their intention is to make Duterte and the other officials who are allegedly being challenged here or charged here, or that who would be recommended for charging, to be turned over to the appropriate international court. In other words, the reason they conducted this was for the ICC. This is why Trillanes appeared in the Quadcom. Okay? This was the entire purpose. Bakit? Kung Pilipinas ang magpo-prosecute kay Duterte, they have to get past the immunity from suit for the Philippine President for his official acts. Okay? Again, bakit nga ba? Because also under the previous section, pwede rin pong malimit yung immunity from suit of the head of state pag nasa ICC sila. So yun yung entire purpose ng Quadcom. This isn't about us prosecuting him. It's not even about whether or not there is sufficient evidence. Kasi pwede dito kahit suspected pa lang. Hindi pa napapailan ng charge. Suspect pa lang, pwede nila, may ground sila to turn over Duterte et al. To the International Criminal Court. Even if the ICC itself possibly doesn't have enough evidence, if they are already investigating, yun ang gusto nilang gawin, is to get Duterte out of the Philippines and limit his influence on the Philippine public. Yun po. Okay. It doesn't matter whether President Marcos says, ay, walang jurisdiction, di natin kinikilala jurisdiction ng ICC dito. Kongreso yung umaandar. Okay. And regardless, this now will bring the executive and the legislative at odds with each other. For it is the president who sets international policy, foreign policy, solely the architect of foreign policy. So kung sakasakaling sabihin ng presidente sa Kongreso, it doesn't matter. We will not subject these people to the ICC. We don't recognize them. Papapasukin naman nila, plan B will be for the local prosecution of that. Pero it is very clear from yung ginagawa ng Quadcom na ang purpose nila is to send Duterte out of the country to limit his influence. Because, Darwin, it is not yet time. Hindi pa. This is only the Quadcom. This is not Congress. This is only a group of people, and the decision is still subject to plenary. Once it goes to plenary, we can take note of the names of these people who vote, not only for the legal process, but also for the political ones. Why, you're asking, why is no one filing a petition before the Supreme Court for judicial review? The Vice President herself is a victim of the Quadcom, and yet she herself says, I do not expect fairness from this government. So kayo, kung sa tingin ninyo, may legal standing kayo, you can file the suit yourself. My question is, why are you asking? Why aren't you moving? Ako, I'm with the Vice President on this one. I will not put the Supreme Court in a position where they might be subjected to inappropriate pressure. Why would I do that? Diba? Why would I want to subject ourselves to a decision that will become official? I believe in the political solution, not in the legal one. And yes, I know I'm a lawyer and I'm saying that. But nothing in the Constitution says that only one solution is available. Sabi ni Radiant, I'm not worried about this case. Did we say we're worried? This is not about worrying. This is not about whether he will be subjected to it or not. This is about what the Quadcom is doing. Whether they succeed or not, this is no moment. That is not up for discussion. In fact, nakikita natin, mahihirapan sila because of the quantum of evidence involved here. It must be guilt beyond reasonable doubt. And in order for them to be subjected to this, you have to prove the predicate crimes. There should be predicate crimes here. And you must prove that the unalivings were deliberate and subjected to a policy of which the president is allegedly the author. So no, that's irrelevant. PRD said the ICC will not do it. No, what we're doing here is talking about what the Quadcom is doing and why we should not vote for them ever again. Why are you talking about this? Nililihis nyo naman yung usapan. Paano nagagawa ng mga abogado na kaupo sa Congress ang pag-disrespect sa Korte Suprema ng Pilipinas? Nasaan ang disrespect sa Korte Suprema ng Pilipinas? Nasaan ang contempt dyan? Okay? Huwag naman ganyan yung mga statements. If we're going to make statements, we demand it of the trolls. Pero tayo din. May disrespect, may ganito. Of course. But we want this discussion to be complete. Sabi ni Lola, Quadcom is doing the right things. Dapat irespeto natin. I have a middle finger just for that statement. Seriously. You're not really saying anything. Doing the right thing. How? You didn't even say how. You're not even saying, you're not even talking about the evidence that's required here. Besides, doing the right thing. Hindi pa nga eh. Sabi ni Rolando, malakas o mahina man ang kaso laban kay PRD, ang gusto nila ICC ang mag-prosecute. Alam na this. It also shows us that there seems to be, whether you believe it or not, there's either a moro-moro of a schism or an actual schism between the executive and the Congress. Not the legislature ha, just the Congress. Okay? Parang, itong mga tsuwariwak ng speaker, obviously, they're pushing for the more extreme solutions against the Dutertes. They talk about impeachment. They talk about ICC. On the executive side, on the side of the president, walang jurisdiction ng ICC. No, I disagree. Sayang yung oras kung magpapa-impeach. Moro-moro? Possibly. Actual schism? Possible din. Huwag tayong magpapaalin lang dito sa mga to. They're all of a piece. Kaya na ang lakas ng loob ng Kongreso, gawa ng pagpapabaya ng Pangulo. Siya naman ang presidente dyan eh. Kung naggaganito. And dinig namin, na-outshout ang presidente ng Speaker of the House. Hindi man natin gusto ang presidente, haler, bakit ka ganyan, Speaker? Kung totoo. Okay, sabi ni Viana, definitely ashamed to file such a case. There is no case. There is no case even now. There is no case even yet. Because this is simply the committee report of the Quadcom. It is merely a recommendation that must pass through the plenary first. Wala presidente pa naman na B. Walang mangyayari. Sabi niya, Quadcom is a laughing matter. Yan. Ito, Ma'am Beverly says, taxes natin still hemorrhaging. Well, they keep talking about correct. Hindi lang po hemorrhaging, ma'am. It's a, tama, hemorrhaging. A full-out bloodbath over our taxes. Tama naman po kayo dyan. Pero yung totoo, anong sinabi ni VP Inday din? Ito talaga pinagtutuunan nila ng pansin. May gaslighting involved pa sa atin. Pagkatapos, ang problema ng gutom, is only a laughing matter for them. Diba? Ay, ito yung bugadong gutom. Ay, ito yung ano, gutom ka pa ba? Nakakain ka na ba? Yung trolls nila, tinuruan nilang pagtawanan ang issue ng gutom. Tandaan po natin yan. Ginagawa yan ng trolls ng administrasyon. Funny daw yon pag nagugutom ka. As if hindi ito imposed on us, itong gutom na ito. Sa totoo lang, baka tayo pa yung makapag-file ng crimes against humanity dito sa mga ito pag lumala ang gutom dito sa Pilipinas. Sa totoo lang, ito naman talaga yung original pakay kung bakit sila nag-umpisa nitong Quadcom hearings na ito eh. So, pero at least, may basis na tayo against the mga trolls. Kaya natin pinag-uusapan to, sasabihin ng mga trolls, hala, ICC is waving. ULOL. Diba? You laugh out loud. Sabi ni Lemuel, nakakagalit. Sana yun pupunta sa kalsada dahil sa impeachment. Sana gawin na ngayon. Sasama ako, I am not a Filipino for nothing. Sabi ni Josephine, only people with disturbed mind can appreciate what the Quadcom is doing. I assume that the meaning of appreciate here is yung parang grateful appreciation, ganon. Again, what this does for us is just, it solidifies, or it ought to solidify our resolve. Huwag na natin pabalikin tong mga to sa pwesto, pwede ba? So if you are in the jurisdiction, kung dun sa mga district representatives nitong mga nasa Quadcom na ito, parang awa nyo na, wag nyo na pong iboto itong mga to. Gagawa tayo ng listahan ng mga party lists na maaari nating iboto. Pagpilian nyo na lang yung mga yon. Pero dito sa mga pag hindi natin binanggit, huwag ninyong iboto. Kasi ayokong bigyan ng unnecessary attention itong mga ito. Sabi ni JB at Sweet 26, mahiya ka sa sinasabi mo. Si amo mo Duterte ang nagpamahal sa lahat ng bilihin tapos sisi nyo kay BBM. Darling, may pruweba ako na si BBM mismo ang may kasalanan sa pagtaas ng presyo ng pagkain dito sa Pilipinas. Dahil dun sa executive order na inisyu niya, allowing for increased importation sa pagkain. An increase in importation that did not result in a decrease of prices. And in fact, yumaman ang mga importers. Alam mo kung bakit ebidensya na ito? Pruweba na ito? Dahil in-acknowledge mismo ni Speaker Martin Romualdez na in spite of all the tax breaks and the breaks in duties, mahal pa rin ang pagkain at nag-order siya ng investigasyon sa Quilcom. Alam natin na hindi na moro-moro din yung investigasyon na yan and they will find a way to blame PRD. Gayon pa man in-acknowledge niya na in spite of of all of this, of the decrease in duties and the increase in imports, tumaas pa rin ang presyo. Bakit? Yung mga barkada nilang mga importers, ang tutuso magpatong. Binabaan na yung duties nila, pinataasan pa rin nila yung mga presyo nila. You know why nagugutom ang mga tao? Dahil pinapatay natin yung mga farmers natin. Binababaan yung mga yung pagbibili sa mga locals. At para tuluyan na silang hindi makaproduce, nag-i-import ng sobrang bagsak sa presyo. Pero kinokontrol nitong mga middlemen na ito ang presyo sa merkado. Wow, galing. Yung control na yon ang dahilan kung bakit gutom ang mga Pilipino. Kaya wag niyong sasabihin na si Duterte yan. Kanino bang barkada yan? Sino ba nagpababa ng nagpa-increase ng mga quotas at nagpababa ng mga duties? Yung initial na ginawa ni Presidente Duterte was supposed to expire nung dineclare na wala ng pandemic o wala na yung ditong COVID or under control na ang COVID. Nangyari yan 2023 or December 2022 kung di ako nagkakamali. Kaninong presidency yun? Ika na nahiya. This Josh says, pwede po ba sila balikan ng case sa ginagawa nila yan sa dating Pangulo at mga kaalyado nila? Anong case po? Hindi. When you talk like that, gawan natin ng kaso. Gumagamit din po kayo ng lawfare. Gusto niyong gumante, so naghahanap kayo ng kaso. Ako kasi, nag-hesitate ako sa ganyan. Kasuhan natin kung mayroong kaso. Regardless of of whether or not may kasalanan sila sa atin. Pero, tingin ko for acts as congressmen, may immunity po sila eh. It's called the speech and debate clause, parliamentary immunity. Sabi ni Ma'am Marie, correct, tinatawanan lang nilang kahirapan. Kasama na dyan yung SEC puno ng anti-poverty, matapobreng bastos ang bunganga at siya ang... So sabi ni Glens, ang issue, si Ma'am parang may pinaghuhugutan, ang issue ng PhilHealth, pwedeng ikumpara sa mag-asawang may savings sa bangko, tapos withdraw ng asawang lalaki, savings nila at binigay sa kabit. Kabit naman doon ay hindi kabet. Issue sa mga At pinagawa ng bahay kainis kasi kaming OFWs mandatory. Gets ko, Ma'am. Chine-check pa, di ba, bago kayo umalis ng bansa? I feel. Alam ko kasi mataas yung bayad namin dyan eh. So, the reason binaklas natin itong charge na nire-recommend nila is para i-expose ito. Ang purpose nila is purely political. They just want the Dutertes out of the equation so that they have a fighting chance in 2025. Ibig sabihin, they know something. They know the depth and extent of the popularity of Rodrigo Duterte and Inday Sara Duterte that they must conduct these actions to discredit them, to delegitimize them. Sabihin nila, ay, itong si kahit charge pa lang, violator to. Violator ng human rights. Sabi ni Radiant Wonder, undoubtedly, this is politically motivated. It further risks deepening divisions, eroding trust in democratic institutions, ganda, and weakening the country's political stability under Marcos Jr., if there was ever any political stability under this administration at all. Alan says, kapag hindi nila na-impeach si VP Sara after 2025 elections, si BBM na ang i-impeach sa tingin ko. Well, sana ano na natin yung ebidensya, diba? Sabi ni Lala Bell, nakakawalan ng dangal ang ginagawa ng Quadcom. So, ang next issue, of course, pero tingnan niyo, sa comment section pa lang nakikita natin, deadma dito sa issue ng Quadcom. Deadma sa recommendation ng Quadcom. From the start, hindi naman sila fair, so it is no surprise na ganito yung recommendation nila. Pero ano yung nakakasakit talaga sa atin? Yung issues ng PhilHealth. Okay? Yung issue ng Quadcom, deadma. Issue ng PhilHealth, oh my gosh. Bakit? Ang dami sa atin nagbabayad ng premiums. Tapos kakarimpot ang nakukuha natin. Tapos maririnig mo pa, bakit nagpapabalik ng pera sa PhilHealth? Diniminish mo na yung subsidy, tapos sasabihin niyo sa amin, anyway, may 15 billion na surplus. Bakit kayo may surplus? Ha? Bakit hindi niyo ginagamit lahat ng pera para sa kapakanan ng mga nagbabayad ng mga premiums? Bakit hindi niyo kaya nilalagay dun sa main fund? Kasi kung wala man sa batas ng PhilHealth na pwedeng i-transfer yan into the main fund so it can generate more income, then it should. So ang tanong is, if it is not in the law, hello Congress, what are you doing? Sabi ni your best version of you, falls in po yung surplus or reserve. Ina-assume ko lang na totoo kasi PhilHealth ang nagsabi. Sabi ni Rain Danielle Garcia, kung di tayo talaga kikilos at lalaban, masahol pa sa Japanese era ang mangyayari sa atin. But don't forget, na yung pagsasalita, itong magdi-discuss tayo, itong pagpo-post sa social media, itong ingay, may epekto po yan. Tignan nyo, umurong nga ang tingog dahil nag-ingay tayo. Tingnan nyo, kinakabahan si BBM nung narinig na magkakaroon ng impeachment dahil alam niya nagagalit ang taong bayan. At kinakabahan siya doon. Diba? Alam niyo naman, yung isang very brave dyan, na akala niya walang katapusan ng kanyang power, tuloy-tuloy. Pichu says, when history remembers this Congress, it won't be for any laws they passed. Their legacy isn't legislation, it's petty theater, funded by the very people they are failing to serve. Ganda ng pagkasabi ni ma'am. Ma'am, ha? Ma'am ba? Ay. Grayco says, good evening, attorney. Come January at pag tinaas na naman nila ang PhilHealth contributions, magwawala talaga ako. Sasamahan po kita. Ito, tama si Hie. Sabi niya, listening to you, I'm shocked how a clean Congress can really help people by legislating the right laws. For example, PhilHealth. Correct. Pwede pa nga silang magdagdag o hindi lang sin taxes kasi self-defeating yung sin taxes. Gusto natin yung sins ma-diminish kaya binibigyan natin ng malaking tax. Pero pag na-diminish na yung kunwari, kumonti na yung mga smokers, kumonti na yung mga drinkers, I doubt that. But nevertheless, liliit din yung contributions. So we must find more sources for PhilHealth. And of course, let's give a lot of breaks for those people who donate to hospitals, who help out patients. O can't we institute something like a sponsorship program? Ikaw, gusto mo na ang taas ng taxes ko. Pwede ba mag-contribute ako dito sa ospital na ito? Mag-contribute ako dito sa ito, identifiable na patients. Patients 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bigyan ko sila. Yung poorest of the poor, i-identify natin. Tapos sila, pag pupunta sila ng ospital, meron tayong parang may sponsors dito, willing na tumulong up to this amount. Tapos meron tayong tax certificate. I mean, we can find ways. Para dun sa mga nakakaigi, kahit pansamantala, tutulong ako. Or isn't there a way we can contribute more? O PhilHealth. Ngayon, meron akong konting pera, pwede ko bang dagdagan yung contribution ko? Maybe it's some later time. Pag hindi ko maabutan, ako naman ang matulungan. O kaya later on, baka pwedeng lakihan nyo naman ang benepisyo ko. Ang daming pwedeng magawa ng mga legislators na nag-iisip. Na nagkikare. Sorry.